we always try to add something new to the show. So whether it's a pregnant pause or inside joke between myself, Rich, and Brian. But welcome back to Late Night Parents. First live show in a couple of weeks.
Seems like it's been a long, long time.
I know. It's been a really, really long time. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. You can find the latest blogs, wikis. You can follow us on Facebook there and Twitter and listen to the archive of shows. And big shout out to all of our friends. We try to do it a little different. But folks in New York are hearing us on 12:40 a.m. Our good friends, people in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, Florida. Big shout out to 9-0 and the Underground in Kansas City, Missouri. Mile High Radio in Colorado, Denver, Colorado. The Indy 100 in Las Vegas. Big shout out to Helium Radio in Florida. And special shout out to On the 405 Radio in Cali. Also our good friends in the UK, United Kingdom, XRP Radio, and everywhere else on the internet, however you consume your podcasts.
You know, that list is getting pretty long.
Wow. And it's all because of you, Richie V.
Not me. It is all you. All right, no, I'll claim 5%.
55%. Richie V, happy to have you back across from me.
Thank you. It is good to be back. It is great to be back. It's been so long since I sat looking at you across the mic, across the desk.
Right. Big shout out to Brian Graves, who's always holding things down. And in pre-pro, Rich.
There it is.
Pre-pro. Pre-pro, we were talking about, the dissemination of guests and how we should deal with guests going forward for 2019. And he put out there, laid down the gauntlet.
Uh-oh.
Ted, you started emailing the guests. Why don't we go this route? Let's be a little bit more professional. And I said,
good.
Well, but I like writing on the little Post-it notes at the 2 minutes before the show.
We're sending the email 2 minutes before the show.
Oh, sending an email
that
2
works
minutes
too.
Before the show. That also works. All the above. But pretty great show tonight. Totally teched out. Couple of guests in the next 5 to 10 minutes. If we're so lucky, we'll have our friends from BoneHeads, and they surely have a story to tell. Smart iGlasses. And at the third segment of the show, we will have our friends from LifeShield.
Yes.
You know a little something about LifeShield.
LifeShield, great home security product. I'll just leave it there. We'll discuss it more when they come online.
There's another company that reached out to me, home security, because that event that we went to was pretty heavy on that.
Yep.
Smart homes, home security. And we were talking back and forth. It's the device, and I forgot the name of the vendor, but it's a device that will kind of take over as your home security provider.
As far as it'll take over all of the devices and manage everything.
Yes.
From cameras,
sensors,
the
motion
and
detector,
motions, and the main primary interface.
Yes.
And also third-party devices take over, be able to control, say, doors and garage doors and smoke detector.
The only thing they won't take over is that annoying bill that you get at the end of the month.
They claim a piece of it.
They say you can get rid of that. All the services will come directly to you, because the app itself, if there's a notification,
right.
Let's just say, like my kids are slightly younger than your children.
Yep.
Just slightly.
Yep.
Okay.
About a few years.
The smoke detector
Right.
went off.
Right.
So instead of getting the phone call, you'll just get the notification via the app, through their app. That's what they claim. Big question is, how does it affect your home insurance?
That's still a question I have yet to answer. Well, again, we'll go into it more when LifeShield gets on the line. but they also offer that same service as
That's
part of
great.
the package. So I have all the alerts just come to the phone, and but they also do monitoring, and it also will go out and call the police. So I have to, which is what my delay is so far, because I have to fill out a permit with my town.
Right. Because a couple of false.
Right. Though I had a system for 15 years and never had a single false alarm.
Okay.
Never had to have them come. But still, yeah, because of other people, so I have to pay this. I mean, it's not a huge fee, but still, I have to pay a fee for a permit.
But it's more annoying because, like I said, you're paying for some of the people that are.
Your intermediary.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like you have a better understanding with your technology and all the above.
Right.
They may not, or they're not on top of their devices, or they haven't replaced the batteries
Right.
and the motion detectors, and something goes off or something fails. You're paying for that person.
Right. Any modern system, you should be able to at least, things like you just mentioned, changing batteries, being on top of the local devices. You should, as the homeowner, as the end user, be able to receive the alert, change that battery, and not even have to worry about a visit from the provider, unless they're just in it to make a buck.
That's true. That's true. But I think a lot of them, most of them, some of them, are in it to make a buck.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they're actually doing, what they're doing. Besides that, as we wait for them, because I don't know if they're going to call.
Okay.
They
Last
have
contact.
the number.
They have the number.
They have the number.
They were
have
scheduled
everything.
to call in at what time?
28 seconds from now.
Okay. All right.
But as we segue away from that, I want to say it is without a doubt, and we've seen it in other times. It's going to be so important this Tuesday, upcoming.
This is a big one. We've
Is
been
it the
talking
biggest?
about this.
Is it the biggest?
Some people are saying it will be. I'm seeing some
Biggest
numbers.
turnout?
Biggest turnout is what they're expecting. The biggest turnout for a midterm election ever. And I believe that. There has been enough campaigning. I know at my home, just over this weekend, there have been more visits from those stumping and campaigning, or assisting whoever it is who's running, stopping by with the flyers and make sure you vote for so and so on Tuesday. And I've seen more people active out there in the election process this time around than I have since I can't remember when. Ringing the doorbell, vote for so and so.
But and this might put you on the spot, but so what is the actual number? Like, we know last time, so if there's 350 million people here in the United States,
Right.
120, a third of that number will vote
If we're lucky.
in a presidential.
Right. And you never see that in the midterms.
Right. You never see that in the midterms. So if it's 120 or 112 or 115, around about that 115 to 120 number,
Right.
what is the number for midterms, which is considered as high?
The number in my head is in the 20s that I think I remember seeing. I'm trying to see if I can pull that up. That's the number I'm thinking, and what I believe they're expecting is about 36% this time around.
Okay.
Which, again, it's a 50% increase in what's expected. I'm still looking for the previous numbers, but 36% for a midterm election is huge.
So I will say this much. If you've been out to march, to hold a sign, to picket, to protest, to just be unhappy about something, to boo,
To cheer.
to cheer, to obstruct, then you better get your butt out there on Tuesday.
Yes. I mean, if there, I can't think of any time in history, recent history at least, where you have any excuse for not voting, not getting out there, not casting that ballot, because if this hasn't been the most polarizing time for over the last 2 years, and given
Really
anyone a reason on either side, whatever side you may be on, we're not pushing that really.
No, we never really do.
No,
We like to hang down the middle. We do take shots at the president.
we try not to be fake news.
No, we try not to be fake news. But when we were doing the show, and at the time when we were doing the podcast, and Obama would do something crazy, we would say something about it.
We'd say something, absolutely.
So when there was, $1 billion being pushed onto a plane and being sent somewhere else,
We're like, what's up with that?
we would say, okay, something's not right here. Something's not kosher.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a political show.
Try not to be. Nope, it's not.
It's not a sports show.
Nope. That's your other show.
It's not a tech show.
Nope. It's all of the above.
It's all the above. It's kind of like a catch-all type show.
And that's what I tell people when they ask me, so what's the show about? I said, well,
it's a good question.
I say, we call it Late Night Parents because just because you're a parent doesn't mean you don't have to have a life.
Mm-hmm.
We talk tech. We talk politics. We talk sports.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk comedy. We'll talk any and everything, and we'll do product reviews. We'll do book reviews. We talk life skills. We talk everything.
The best thing about it is you can never get put into a box.
That's true.
And you can talk about everything, and it's just like, yeah, it's covered under the veil.
It's under the umbrella. It's under the umbrella policy.
So, along with that, I got to tell you, I don't want to spoil it for you.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the finale of House of Cards.
I haven't looked at any of the last season yet. Please don't spoil that one for me. Don't spoil it.
I won't say anything else.
10 episodes?
It was either 8 or 10.
Okay.
It was either 8 or 10.
All I'll ask, was it good? Oh wait, that says enough right there. See, if you really thought it was good, Ted would have said yes, and then you would have said but see, you took the breath.
It was interesting.
You looked up into the sky. You said, "How do I answer this?"
I don't know how to answer this without spoiling it for you.
Okay, then
I want you to see it.
I will actually. Yeah, I'll probably start this week.
Homecoming also dropped with Julia Roberts.
Saw that.
I
didn't see the show. I saw that it dropped. Yes,
that's what
I want to see that too.
Because 30-minute show, a true 30-minute show.
It's 30 minutes of episode.
30 minutes of episodes.
So whenever they decide to put this on, if they ever decide to put it on broadcast TV, they have to cut something out to fit that 22 minutes.
Right.
Okay.
30-minute episode. What else did I recently just see?
Saw something tonight for the first time, and a good show, FBI.
Okay.
Good show.
Netflix?
No, CBS.
CBS.
So,
okay.
caught it on demand. So they catch it live.
Okay.
Good show. Produced by Dick Wolf, Mr.
CSI?
CSI, yes.
Okay.
Good show. So I'll catch up on it. And tonight, I know we don't talk time frames and all that, but I'm sorry.
Right.
Tonight, Rick Grimes' last episode on The Walking Dead.
So does he get chewed up?
I think so. Going by how it ended last episode.
Okay.
They're killing him off.
They're killing him off.
And this is no spoilers because this is what they've shown on the commercials. The episode has not aired, so.
So could he show up in the other timeline?
I don't think so. Unless they do one of those things where they have seen a main character who's dead come up as a zombie.
Okay.
And they have to get the head chopped off. But
okay.
Getting the impression that, they're really writing him off and this is going to be it. So.
Okay. Okay.
Big episode with that show.
I saw something. One of my friends have mentioned to me Evolution of Hip Hop on Netflix.
Is it good?
2 seasons.
Okay.
4 episodes per season.
Okay.
Roughly about 40 minutes each episode.
Sounds like a British show.
Originated, I believe, in Canada.
Okay.
But it's East Coast rap, West Coast rap,
As
East
it should
Coast
be.
from the 80s, from the Bronx.
As it should be.
It talks about the 80s hip hop and Juice Crew,
Right,
and
right.
Boogie Down Productions,
All
and
right.
the 90s rap, and then West Coast rap, and then gangster,
And then they get to the South a little
yes,
bit. Okay.
they get into the South. It's 8 episodes. It's 2 seasons worth. Some parts I did fast forward through.
Right.
Pretty good. I kind of really liked the East Coast part of it.
Of course, we relate to that. The
We
most.
relate to
we
it.
lived it.
Totally.
We were there as it happened.
Really, really, really interesting show.
Okay. Did you ever read the book, Yes, Yes, Y'all?
No.
I will see if I find my copy and bring it in so you can read it.
Okay.
Great book about the history of hip-hop. Came out probably about 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I forget the name of the author, but I have to remember to bring it in for you. So
Okay.
you can read that. Good book. Speaks the truth.
Fan of MMA or not so much?
I don't go out of my way to watch it,
Okay.
but if I'm going through the channels and I see a name that I know that's about to get into a match, I'll leave it on it and watch it.
I'm not sure what's going on here,
Uh-oh.
but I'm sure Vince McMahon
Mhm.
and man, what's his name? Oh man, I just forgot his name. The head of the UFC, Dana White. Dana White. I'm sure they're in cahoots together. I'm sure because on
Why
Friday,
do you say this?
On Friday they put the belt on Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Saturday night, Daniel Cormier. He's a dual champion.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly calling out Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
His last fight, Brock was there.
Did they do the show? Did someone run up onto the mat and
Yes,
jump on?
last time. But last
Okay.
night, he was just calling out Brock Lesnar. Yeah, and Brock, do me a favor. If you do come to the Octagon, make sure you bring that shiny WWE belt. I think I want that too.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying that this could be a lot of money. This could be a whole lot of money.
Do you well now here? Do you think it's the beginning of something larger?
I think it's something that could be a one-time deal,
Okay.
but could lay enough breadcrumbs.
Right.
They can do crossovers every once in a while.
Okay.
And it's all about, how many people who are subscribers. How many millions of subscriptions
They
can
get.
be purchased for these type of super fights.
Right.
So if they can, eclipse 3 million buys or 5 million buys
At how much?
at-
$70, $80
at
a
70,
pop?
$80 a pop, what does that tell you?
It's a lot of money
That's
to
a
be made.
lot of money that can be made. But it was real interesting last night. It was. I don't want to say MMA is getting a little like the WWE,
But
it's going there a little bit.
see,
I
that
think that's
that was
good.
my appeal, though. Why I would watch MMA sometimes because, I mean, sure, it's a business like anything else, but it still seems real, if you will. It seems legit. It doesn't seem like a show. The guys are out there fighting. It all looks honest.
Right.
WW, pick your letter is
Yes. Yes.
it's scripted.
Totally scripted. I will tell you this, and I hope the folks that are ringing now aren't ringing because.
Sorry, my guy's early.
Did you hear about the black doctor? She was on a Delta flight, and the attendants questioned her credentials.
No, I didn't hear about this one.
It's like the same story rehappening again.
Being a doctor while black.
It's insane because I remember last year to 2 years ago, we were with Dr. Michelle, and she was sharing that story. Not this specific story,
but the same basic story.
The same basic story. And she had mentioned she wasn't on a plane, but she
Right.
was in a situation where
Right.
she was like, "Hey, I'm a doctor."
And they were like, "Ooh, sure."
So we got Rich in the queue a little bit later. We're gonna have to do this probably really, really quick.
Okay.
Dave Farrow from BoneHeads, the smart eyeglass company. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Dave, we also have Rich in the studio.
How's it going, Dave? Thanks for calling. Thanks for joining us.
Doing good. Doing good.
Good.
So, Dave.
All right. So we've got a brand new product out on the market. We're doing a Kickstarter, and it's really exciting. The BoneHeads concept is basically that you can have surround sound quality audio without sticking anything in your ears and without having something over your ears like a big headset.
Okay.
It's basically all incorporated into a pair of glasses. And I'm not the inventor. I do marketing for this, but when I put them on, it was this amazing experience. I put them on, and it felt like earphones, but without sticking anything in my ears. And it syncs in with Bluetooth, syncs in with your phone. You can send and receive phone calls. You can listen to music. And the latest version that we're pitching in this Kickstarter is with a 4K camera in it. And I think it's really going to be a game changer. We really got to get people excited, though, because if we can get enough interest for this, then we can basically have something that'll make it'll make GoPro look incredibly obsolete. Like this is a really amazing item.
Dave, which model did you market? I mean, excuse me, not market, but demo. Was it the audio only, or the 1080, or definitely the 4K?
I personally tried on the audio only, and I was using it while I was working out. I was using it while jogging, and it was kind of incredible. If you put it on someone's head, it's almost like you can hear a faint amount of sound if you're standing away from the person. Right. But then when you put it on, it really feels like that surround sound.
So can you give us a little more on the technical side of how they work?
Yeah, it's called BoneHeads because it's essentially, it's sometimes called bone shaking technology or audio kinetic technology. There's a bunch of different names for it, but essentially what it does is it vibrates just kind of the side of your skull. You don't feel it; it doesn't tickle or anything. I didn't feel it at least, but it vibrates to provide that sort of bass that you hear in really good audio. And then a small speaker provides the treble, and when it's put together, it sounds just like a regular, like really good quality headphones that you have on, but it's literally just ordinary glasses that are going over your ear. So that's the technology that's really, really revolutionary, and it's actually pretty amazing we can pack it all in such a small package.
Interesting.
So, Dave, the 1080 or the 4K, is it like one touch? Like you can take a picture like one, I guess walk us through that. So I put them on.
Yeah,
I'm used to hearing the audio. And
yeah, the whole thing actually syncs to Bluetooth, although the video one, there's just that extra step because you can sync video, audio. You can listen to, Pandora or any music on your phone, that sort of thing. You can listen through the glasses. So same thing as you have with the audio experience, but then you add the camera to it. And yeah, with one touch, you can take a picture, you can take video. It's 4K quality, the highest quality you can get. And it's also pretty durable. We've had examples of people. You can go on the Kickstarter page, just look in AV Eyewear or BoneHeads, and you'll be able to find our Kickstarter. We've had people, go water skiing with it and skateboarding and all sorts of things. I mean, it stays on you like a, good wraparound pair of glasses stays on you. And it's actually really intuitive because you just turn your head where you want to record. And you don't need the extra paraphernalia that comes with a camera mount or anything. It's literally the camera is actually mounted right between your eyes. So it's not even, a right side or a left side like, Google Glass had back in the day. It's right in the center. So it's, all the video looks like a perfect point of view. There's really a lot of thought that was put into this. I wish I could take credit for it, but I'm just, the marketer and spokesperson. But man, I'm a true believer in it. It's a fantastic product.
So fully waterproof, good sound quality, Bluetooth capable, works with your phone. I guess the microphone does the microphone use like a reverse of the audio technology that they transmit through, or is there just a microphone built into the glasses?
I'm not really sure, but I've sent and received calls with it, and I've been outside, and people say they don't hear like the wind blowing and things like that, like you usually get through a microphone in the phone. And I've heard other people who are in the company. They're wearing the BoneHeads while they're talking to me on the phone, and it sounds like your typical. Like the little Bluetooth, earpiece or something. It's, crystal clear quality sound. You wouldn't know the difference. I would say that, I don't know the technology behind the microphone, but it seems to work by the same trick, because it doesn't sound muffled or anything like that. The thing that I like about it is you just put it on and you don't even realize that you're just talking to somebody as if they're right in front of you, and you hear them as if they're kind of surround sound. And I don't know about you, but for me, I've got really sensitive ears. I don't like earbuds at all, and I end up having to wear these big headsets. And you guys are in radio, you probably wear big headsets as well, and it just kind of like collapses on your head. And these things, they just sit there and they're really light and easy to use. So I think it's going to make a big difference.
Now, as far as the lenses, are the lenses interchangeable? Are there various colors? I know I'm viewing some of the images. I see a blue and a gray, and I think looks like it might be a clear. But are there other lens options? They've got a few different lens options. And those are fairly easy to customize. But I like the blue ones. They're polarized. So it's got all the earmarks of a good high quality pair of glasses. The feedback we've been getting is actually kind of surprising. Is that people who are really, really excited about it are a lot of people who do things outdoors. So the outdoor enthusiasts, people who do construction outdoors, for example, motorcyclists, things like that. They're all really enjoying the glasses because they get to listen to their music, they get to do everything that they normally do, and there's certain regulations, obviously, like construction workers and motorcycles. You have to be able to hear surround sound. You can't stick things in your ears, things like that. So these are kind of a lifesaver for a lot of people. Sure, looks very interesting.
Hey, Dave, we're going to ask you to come back maybe in a week or 2 weeks, or possibly if you can also have the co-founder join you the next time, because I think we have a pair being shipped to us, so that we can have the get a better understanding of the look and feel, and then we can have a constructive conversation with you.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to be sending one off to you guys, and I think you'll love it. And we can get the inventor on the phone and everything. It's interesting. Sometimes he likes to do interviews, and sometimes he's nervous to do interviews, but it's really the product kind of speaks for itself. When you put it on, there's this amazing experience. It feels like you're in a concert, like it's just this surround sound, but you just put on a pair of glasses. It actually is kind of it's actually kind of a surprise, like a good surprise. I don't know if you've ever really been surprised by technology these days, but this one actually surprised me because I thought I would feel like a tickle or something vibrating against my skull. You don't feel it. They're just cinched up against there, and I hear the music like I'm hearing it blasting on a stereo, but then I take them off, and there's this like tiny little squeak coming out of them, and I put them on, and it's like the stereo sound. I take them off and put them on, and so try that. It's pretty cool.
Well, we're looking forward to the chance to listen to them, to experience them, and then definitely looking forward to speaking with you and or Dan sooner.
All right.
Awesome. And if anybody wants to go to Kickstarter right now, yes. AV Eyewear or BoneHeads, go in there and you support us. We've got a great team behind this, and essentially what we're doing is we're bringing the manufacturing back to America. There was so this is like the big push to do a Kickstarter to have this fully made in America. We had some portions made overseas, and that's that's why we want to raise some funds so people believe in the Made in America brand. They believe that America is a superpower when it comes to technology. We can launch this and have it 100% made in America with Kickstarter's help. So awesome. We just need the people to support and get on there and find us.
We got 25 days to go. We'll make sure we get the word out.
Absolutely.
Dan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Interesting sounding product. Giving it a look over here. look forward to seeing what it really sounds like.
Yeah.
And the video, that's interesting. I'm thinking, of course, as he indicated, you can't have much going on in your ears when you're in certain roles, but the camera especially, wearing the camera, hearing something going on, you got the recording there live all the time. It sounds very interesting. I'd like to see it.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm interested.
You're interested. We know you are.
Nah.
The answer looked pretty good, too.
I just want to see it first. I think the next person in the queue is, I'll let you introduce him.
This should be, I believe we have Doug on the line right now. Doug is one of the reps from LifeShield, a company that I have been reviewing and evaluating a home alarm system that they manufacture.
A home alarm system that they manufacture.
Yeah. As you say that.
Does it make your house smart?
It makes your house smart and
secure?
And secure. And what else does it do for my home there, Doug? How are you?
How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, Doug?
Yes, we do try to make it both smart and secure. So security is our primary target, but then we've also been adding a lot of features to make it smart as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to it. It's an awesome product. I'll let you, discuss it a little more, give us some of the details, tell us a little bit about the company. Because I had, again, it was the PepCom meeting that I was introduced to the company when we first got to speak. And, working with Heather and, heard so much about the equipment.
Who was at the show? Was Heather at the show?
Heather,
or
yes, Heather was there.
Okay, because there was someone I had a very long conversation with. Was that Heather?
That should have been Heather. Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah, if it was a young lady, obviously, yes. That was Heather.
Okay. All right. I'm good.
Okay.
Doug, the show is yours. Go ahead. Let's tell us about LifeShield.
Yeah, I mean, just a little background on the company. So we started in 2004. So we've got some legacy behind us. We were one of the first wireless home security companies, so we kind of pioneered the space. But we started as a company called Ingrid and went through kind of multiple iterations. So, we started kind of with a focus on, trying to stand up companies like Brinks and Verizon and a couple other bigger guys, and trying to figure out if we could play in that space. And then in 2009, we had kind of a new CEO come in, Mike Hagan, who kind of took us down the path, which was really a direct-to-consumer play. So we got to build the LifeShield brand at that point in time and really trying to focus on, what we could do to help secure a person's home. In 2013, we actually got acquired by DirecTV. So we had a really good run there. We were building the product out with really a focus on video and starting some of our kind of work in the home automation. And then unfortunately, AT&T, well, fortunately for everybody, it's DirecTV, but AT&T ended up buying DirecTV, so they kind of had two security products. Right. So we were kind of sitting around waiting, and then in 2017, Mike Hagan, the previous CEO, actually bought the company back out of AT&T and kind of gave us a new life. So since then, we've been very focused on doing things like building out, home automation, building out voice control, building out more video skills. So a lot of cool things that we've been doing in order to make the product better. And then also kind of reinforcing kind of from a security standpoint, the things that are important to our customers. So. Sure.
That good coverage of the background there. So like you already mentioned, you're in a space where there are other vendors, of course, the first name that comes to mind, I think in your specific home managed and user managed space is Simply Safe. I think that's one of the other big boys in the market. Now, I've never had any experience with their products. Again, of course, I have some experience with yours now. But what makes LifeShield different than Simply Safe?
Yeah, so Simply Safe, has done a great job of being a security system first and just being simple. LifeShield has kind of tried to step the game up a bit on that. We've had a very great run with video, so we've got motion detection with our cameras. And I know Simply Safe just added some of that stuff, but we've really put a lot of time into that. We've moved into home automation. We moved to If This and That so that we could actually integrate with other devices. We've moved into Alexa, and we're soon to be coming into Google Home. So when we look at the space, we kind of look at first, how do we make it as easy as possible for the customer to set it up in the DIY world? Second, how do we make sure that they have the right options in terms of when it comes to purchase, making sure they have the right kits? And then third, we end up looking at, if they can't do it themselves or they don't want to do it themselves, do we have options for them to do professional install? Which is one of the things that, like the Simply Safes and the Nest of the world don't have the option to kind of go through.
Right. Now, again, yes, when I received the package, I just looked at the box and said, okay, this is everything in one reasonably small package. Laid everything out. I did what I normally don't do. I said, let me act like a full end user here and read the instructions. And, from start to finish, it might have been about 2 hours for me to install it. And that included removing some old sensors from a previous setup. The packaging, the documentation, everything was very clear, very easy to read and follow. It's kind of obvious that you guys definitely spent a lot of probably, R&D and testing and development in the setup and configuration part. Is that true?
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Thank you for a minute. Yeah, exactly it. That's exactly our objective. It's to make sure that we focus on, the out-of-box experience, just pulling it out, pulling the tabs, and then you're up and running. So, so user experience has been one of the keys to the company. And even if you go back to when we were, in our first generation of product, we were very focused on making sure the customer, could figure out how to put a security system up, because it's not an easy thing that you do every day,
Right.
So when you pull it out of the box, we have to tell you, the motion sensors go here. This is how you mount a door window. And then the other thing that we spent a lot of time on is making sure that when you're done, installing it, that you know how to use it, which I think is where a lot of people miss out on in the security space, is when a professional installer walks in and tells you, puts up all your sensors and things, they leave by telling you how to arm the system. And for us, that's one of the most important pieces, is to make sure that when you put it in, you're still using it to protect yourself, which not everybody gets right all the time.
Well, yeah, exactly. And of course, arming the system, you want to make sure that when that system is being armed, that everything is functional, everything is lined up, and that, especially these days, where, as I indicated, where I live, we now have to actually file a permit for a home system because so many people have false alarms. So I did notice that's a great idea. During the setup process, when it's initially set up, there's a grace period that you guys build into the system. Basically, it seems like that, okay, you have it all in place and all, but we're going to give you that, it was either 7 or 10 days, I forget, but that a good amount of time to get used to using the systems, fine tune it for your home, things like pets, what sensors you may or may not need to enable for stay mode versus away mode, or if you might like to leave a window open, keeping that one out of the system. Give you plenty of time to set up and configure the system. So that I think is a very, very good idea, and probably saves on anyone that does the installation, probably saves on a lot of false alarms and the grief that goes along with that.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that's one of the keys, right? You don't want to be scared of the system and end up with a false alarm in the first day, but you want to make sure that they're trained around how it works, right? When you get home from work the first time you've armed your system, you want to know how much time you have in order to get in the house to put your groceries down or your work bag down, whatever that may be. When you're leaving to go to work, you want to make sure that it's common for you to go through and arm the system. So we put that 7-day practice period in there really to kind of coach you through it. And then after that, by the end of that 7 days, you should understand kind of whether the pet's going to set the alarm off, which shouldn't happen because it's, an 80-pound motion sensor, but there's big dogs,
Mm-hmm.
Or if a kid maybe coming downstairs and stay mode is going to set something off because, you've included a motion and maybe you don't want to do that in stay mode. You want to not include the motion. So we use that coaching period. We have an onboarding team that kind of walks you through and teaches you about the system, over the phone. We have a permits team that White Glove kind of handles the permit process for you if they can do it. And we really try to make sure that the first week, that onboarding is really the best that you can have for the fact that you installed the system yourself. And and nobody was actually in your home.
Right, and it really is, and also a big piece of that I found so far is the app. The app is very helpful, very functional. It's obviously that was another piece that the team decided to really focus on, because I mean you can use the app and not even have a keypad or the mobile keypads or the keychain pieces, and just do everything from the app. That's why I really say kudos to what you guys have done with that.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, we started kind of giving our customers interactive services back as I might even be earlier than 2010, from before I actually started in the company. So, my primary focus as Chief Product Officer is to work with our customers and work with our engineering teams to make sure that the app is one of the primary interfaces that they use. So they have the keypad, they have the touchpad, they have the key fob, but yes, the application gives them an additional access point whenever they're remote to see their cameras, to see what's happening inside their house, so like if their kids got home from school or if their babysitter got there at a specific time. So we have put a lot of time into that, and then with the automation stuff, we've even made it a more rich experience. And I think it's kind of table stakes these days for companies to have an application that is included in your security system, because you want to know why somebody was in your house.
Right.
Even in a non-break-in situation, you want to know, like, did the babysitter get there on time with the kids? Like, did the kid go out the door at a specific time at night if it's a teenager, and like were they with anybody else? So yeah, we've spent a lot of time, and we appreciate you guys recognizing that.
So speaking of the cameras and monitoring, I know LifeShield did at some point recently did a survey specifically around parents and their usage of their systems to monitor their children, monitor things around the house, monitor what's going on. Would you like to speak some about that? Because I know that was a very in-depth survey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but I mean, the top level, of it was that we wanted to get an understanding of kind of what our customer base thought of, from a child standpoint, like in a kid's, like in monitoring, like, we use a lot of use cases, like if the kid doesn't come home from school, send a snapshot or send a notification to them, or if the kid gets home from school and they put a code in, like we get the video, clip of whatever they were doing. But we don't know if our customers are always thinking that way, right? So we started to ask questions around, like what they were doing when they were home from school or what they were doing at night. Would you be monitoring them from going into certain areas in the home? And I think the biggest takeaway was the fact that, like, parents, they get a security system to protect themselves from the, people coming in the house, right? It's like what we call perimeter defense. But there's another additional piece there, which gets into the safety of your family when you're not home or when you are home as well as a parent. And I think we saw a lot of people that didn't necessarily use the system that way, but were very encouraged and, thought that there was good things that they can do. So, for example, in my house, we have chimes that go off when the back door opens. So we have a big fenced-in yard, but, like, if our 3-year-old son decides to open the door, then, we want to make sure that we know that he opened it, like, because he lets the dog in and out sometimes. So, like, I think those use cases are things that we got feedback from our base on that they didn't necessarily know they could do, and now I think we're going to start to do some more surveys to see, like, what they do after the survey and what will they do in the future as we kind of educate them on the opportunities. Right.
Yeah, it was a very interesting survey. Just as important on the issues and items which parents thought they wanted to do and wanted to intentionally monitor. It was also just as important to see and interesting to see the items which parents said they did not and would not monitor. Knowing that there still needs to be some respect for, not just the children, but for everyone in the household. But, yeah, specifically for the children. You don't need to monitor every single moment of their lives. But, sure, you might want to put a camera over by the liquor closet just so you can see who's going in there, be it the children or the nanny. Make sure she's not dipping in there when you're not home. So,
yep.
Very, very interesting information that was found in that survey. So again, I'm reviewing the system. I think it's a great product. Have been able to install and get it set up very easily. So much so that I actually plan on buying another one, or buying one for my son in Texas, who just recently purchased a home. I got to see it last week, and he needs a system in the home. So you get a purchase out of me for sure for that too.
Perfect. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell us, how can our listeners contact you, contact LifeShield, if they're interested in purchasing or finding out more information about the system or the product or the company?
Yeah, I mean, LifeShield.com is the best way to go. So if you go visit LifeShield.com, it'll tell you about our packages. It'll tell you the phone number to access, and you can also fill out a web lead there in order for an agent to call you back. So, that's really the key is if we've got information about the different features on the site, we have comparisons on the site, and our agents can help you build a system that's custom to your home. And I think that's key, right? Is like not every house comes with two or three doors and like 2 or 3 windows. So, we'll work with you to make sure that we cover you in a way that, gets all of your windows covered. It might be motion sensor instead of having one on each window, but these guys are trained security advisors on the phone that can teach you like what you need in your house to be protected. So
awesome. Well, again, thank you very much for joining us. I'm glad we had an opportunity to speak with you about the product. I look forward to working with the company, working with the team in the future as well.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys having us on, and I'm glad everything's working out great for you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
So much.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was LifeShield.
That was LifeShield. Good to talk with them. Like I said, great product. Good enough. I'm buying one for my son.
I think we'll get a quick blog up there in the next couple of weeks.
I figured I'm actually just been holding off until I get it fully online.
Okay.
After the permit process, which they are the ones that actually reached out with the permit information.
Oh, okay.
I just have to send it in to my town and get that going. But
Good.
as he indicated, their team followed through on everything all the way through. Really, really good customer service.
Excellent. That's good. I mean, LifeShield sounds like a good product, and it's stood the. I don't know. It seems like it's hanging around there from going from, when a smaller product is purchased by one of the big companies, a lot of times it gets swallowed.
Right, and you never hear from them again.
Again.
And then they hold on to, the technology.
IP.
And the IP, and that's it.
Right. So it's good to see they're still fighting and in the mix. So if I say to you, Amazon is in late-stage talks with Crystal City, Virginia, which is Arlington.
Are they planning on opening a center there? Or talking about it? East Coast?
East Coast. They're actually talking with Crystal City, Dallas, and New York. But I hear a lot to say about Crystal City. Why?
Tax breaks?
Well, I would say the usual. The location checks all the boxes.
Okay.
Urban neighborhood.
Yeah.
Politricks.
Politricks.
Every tax break in an empowerment zone option possible.
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of like when we started having this discussion about a year ago, I was saying Newark.
Seems like the perfect location.
Right. Like, it needs to be a place where they can just level.
Without complaints.
Without complaints.
People will come in and say, thank you.
I mean, you hate to sound like this, but it will sound like it.
Go ahead, Ted.
But it's an area where you can level, and the most you're leveling are like housing projects, or I'm sorry to even say that.
I'm ducking. I don't want to get hit. Let me duck.
But I'm sitting here saying that okay.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Urban development, locations in dire need of urban development.
Yes.
Redevelopment.
Where it's not going to get redeveloped.
Right.
Or it's going to sit there in hell.
Right.
And then it'll get a third of the money. But this way, you go the Amazon route, boom, it gets blown up. Not literally blown up.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I said, it gets leveled. It gets built up. Buildings are there. It needs to be near the airport. So Reagan International is there.
It's right there.
20 minutes outside of D.C.
Okay. But you do still need to do that in a large commercial space, and because
Right.
you can't tear down a redistrict, rezone, or residential space, because then you get accused of kicking out the people who live there.
Yeah. Or
But there's
they
one.
have so much money they can just cut checks for
For everyone,
everyone and just
you're still doing the same thing, buying people out to kick
Right.
them out.
Well, we saw it at the Barclays Center.
Well, we saw it in South Jamaica with York College.
You know,
we saw
we've
it at the
seen
Barclays.
this. We've seen this before. You've seen this movie before.
And exactly, and look in the area around the Barclays.
Right.
Downtown Brooklyn does
Yes.
not look anything like it did 10 years ago.
Not at all.
It's not the same place. And
Not
that's-
at all.
I'm not saying for good or for bad, but it's probably for good. But but nothing like it was before.
So, early stages of the talks. We're not
Okay.
saying that they're definitely going to Crystal City,
Okay.
but it looks highly likely.
So if they do, when are you moving down?
That's a totally different show.
Uh-huh.
I want to be an Amazon worker where I can drive around and deliver packages and smile.
And smile.
And
Control the drone as it lands on your roof.
yes, yes, I want to be that. But hey, did you know it's daylight savings time?
Yes, it is. I know.
Did you fall back or did you spring forward?
Spring ahead, fall behind.
Ah, okay.
And I enjoyed getting that extra hour of sleep.
Didn't you?
It was great. And this was one of the times I said, you know what? I'm going to plan on the extra hour. And it was wonderful.
Okay. So on the blog we released on Late Night Parents, in the good words of Daylight Saving Time, how to avoid becoming a victim of crime this time of year.
And this time of year, I mean, you know, it's seasonal. It's, you know, people going shopping, going to the mall, the common sense things you have to do at the mall. I know we have a nice long list here, so we'll go through the list.
Will we?
But we'll start through the list. Sure, we have time to do that, I think. But, you know, the parking lot, every year you hear someone getting jacked.
Story.
Something happens in a parking lot where they're coming out from shopping and, you know, they came
Can't
out of the
believe you said
store.
jacked.
They get jacked. That's it. 'Cause that's it. Coming out of the store, bags and bags in hand, going to the vehicle, opening the trunk, putting all the things in the trunk, closing the trunk, and then going back into the store.
Right.
What's wrong with this picture, Ted?
Well, in that picture, you just became a Vic.
Exactly. Big V over your head. Call your insurance company now because the
Victim
car just
of
got broken
circumstance.
into. Everything got stolen, and hopefully they didn't attack you as well. So there are certain common sense things you have to follow.
It's like nowadays, you got to make it a practice to make sure your cell phone is charged.
Right.
And you have easy access to it. So having your cell phone buried in the bottom of your pocketbook or man purse or makes it difficult to find in an emergency.
But you also don't want to get so focused on your phone
Right.
that you're staring at it, walking around, not clueless about your
Aimlessly.
surroundings.
Yes.
Don't know what's going on. You know, if you need to send a text to someone or shoot an email off, look around. Remember, you're in a public place, so just be aware.
And if you're in that public place, make sure you're parked in a well-lit area.
This goes without saying. I mean, you know, you go out there, you look at the lights, look at the overheads, make sure, like you said, well lit, open space, nothing that someone can easily hide behind or around. You have to do that. You know, coming out of the mall, go into the car.
Right.
Don't sit there, like you just said. Phone all the way at the bottom of your bag, keys to the car all the way at the bottom. You got one hand with all the stuff in your. Get your keys ready as you leave the store. Maybe before you walk out the door, have your keys in your hand. Have everything together so you can just walk up to the car and get in.
So something you mentioned before, make sure you conceal all your packages that are in your car.
And don't do it in the parking lot.
Right.
That's the big one.
But what about the people that have the convertible and they're going Christmas shopping?
This is why I did not buy a convertible. Because convertibles are just welcoming an issue. But I mean, sure, convertible, you can put the top up at least so people can't just look and see what's in there. But, you know, have some common sense. Don't pack up the car in the parking lot and go back into the store.
How many people don't do this today? They don't double check their doors a lot.
I think it's not even that they don't double check. I think some people just don't lock their doors. I mean, you know, we both look at the same news in the morning, and how many times every year you get that story? Yeah, there's some kids or there's a group of people running through Pick Your Neighborhood and stealing things out of unlocked cars.
Right.
So they're not breaking in. They're just saying, "Oh, is this door open?" And the doors are open in the driveway.
And let me just go in there.
Let me just take whatever device people left in their car. So yes, lock your doors. Take a look. Double check. Arm the alarm in the car if it doesn't arm automatically. You know, and make sure you have enough gas. Let's not go to the store on E and then get stranded. Make sure you have enough gas to get home, back and forth safely.
Lastly, allowing yourself time to map out your trips and allow you to make them all safer and much more enjoyable. You got to think strategically.
Plan. That's all. A little bit of planning, a little bit of forethought can go a long, long way.
I guess that's it.
It was a quick show.
It was a quick show. Got to make sure everyone you get out there and vote.
Yes, get out there, vote for whoever, vote your conscience, vote common sense. Just vote.
It's your right.
It is, and people died for you to have that right.
Yes.
In some cases. Some people just get it. Others, it had to be gotten. So respect that, what was done for you. Folks, thanks for listening. Have a great week. See you next time.